Thank you for hitting the recording button, Tom Murphy. Hey, everybody. It's Jason, Joe, and of course, Tom Murphy, who we're using his Zoom today. And welcome, everybody. It's another edition of our WPT in 20. This is like the 4th of July pre-spa Del Mar edition. Just wanted to not only say hi to everybody out there in West Point podcast land, but wanted to check in with the crew. What's going on, Joe? Let's start with you. What about 4th of July plans, my friend?
Hey, we might get that big red filio in at Aqueduct tomorrow, so I'm really stoked about that. It's nice. It's early in the card too. Get a nice win, then go back and barbecue a little bit, enjoy the festivities of the day. And yeah, it'll be a great little prelude to Saratoga. It's a big weekend of racing at Aqueduct too, with the Belmont Derby going on Saturday. So there's a lots to look forward to, not just in Saratoga, but down in my neck of the woods too.
And we will be waiting in the wings. I know we don't have anything targeting per se the Belmont Derby, but I'm thinking, Tommy, like looking ahead to the spa. I mean, we could have, if things play out the way they potentially could, I mean, we could have multiple horses in the Saratoga Derby just waiting to pounce on whoever wins the Belmont Derby on Saturday.
Yeah, it's like you said, Saratoga. It's been on my mind for a while now that Churchill's over. I'm trying to keep it, in the back so I don't get too excited. But very much looking forward to getting that meet underway. And obviously July 4th weekend leading up to it's always a fun one for me and a lot of other racing fans. So, and like you said, Cugino pointing there, and I think maybe even Carson's Run potentially decide to see where he goes. But like you said, I think the more the merrier we can have. So it'd be really awesome around 1, 2, or maybe even 1, 2, 3 if we can get a third one there.
It's just crazy thinking about like the bevy of 3-year-old turf horses, and don't want to slight or miss anyone. But as Tommy just said, of course, you got Coogee, you got Cugino, we've got Carson's. Zverev has gotten his act together and is starting to evolve and develop into the horse I think a lot of us thought, or at least had the kind of potential when we bought him. Cherie just crushed it throughout the spring, especially in Kentucky. You've got the horse who is near and dear to me, Final Boss, who I had the honor of naming out of my love, or at least from my love of video games. I always thought Final Boss would just be just a killer name for a colt, and he's definitely improved and was already a stakes winner. He's already a stakes winner, having gotten it done last time out on the West Coast. So we've got a lot of good and very exciting 3-year-old turf horses, and guys, we're coming off just a monstrous Churchill Downs spring meeting. I even texted Jeff Lifson. I'm going to share my screen here in a second, but I just felt the need, guys, to text Jeff Lifson that post he put up on Chatter 2 days ago was just beautifully written, and just and Tommy, you were pretty much living in the winner's circle there. It was just like the perfect summation to a wildly awesome spring season for us, for West Point Thoroughbreds at Churchill Downs.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I can't believe it's already over. It feels like, yesterday it was Derby Day, and the meet was really just starting. And it was funny. I've had some people, especially when we were there for the races, though, would ask me, "Oh, you think we're live here?" And just about every time I said yes, and it worked out. I think we came out with 9 wins, a lot in the monies, a lot of horses too that came close and ran really well. Just weren't able to get their nose down in time or ran out of ground. But like you said, it was just a fantastic meet, and through every weekend we had something I thought had a chance. Everyone ran really well and really put a lot of horses in good positions, whether they're going to Saratoga, whether they're staying in my neck of the woods, heading out Dallas Park, or anywhere else they're going in the country. But just the stable as a whole has had a really strong last couple weeks, last couple months. So it's been really, really gratifying to see, especially for the partners that we've had at the races. I mean, obviously when you win, it's the best thing in the world. And then when we have a bunch of partners there, it makes it even that much more fun.
Oh, wait, yeah, without a doubt. There's nothing better than being at the races or just being at the track in general with West Point partners. And then when you're in that winner's circle, I mean, it makes life worth living. And none of this, once again, is possible without our partners and our horses. So a big 4th of July salute to all of you. And yeah, I had a kick, Joe, like before we hopped on. on Zoom here, I was just scrolling through pretty much from Father's Day weekend up through the presents. And I mean, starting again with On My Honor, who was in the right spot and grinded away and got the maiden 50, the final boss out on the West Coast, Zavera. The wins just piled up. And, it's not just the quality or the quantity rather of late Joe. I mean, it's the quality as well. I mean, these are some high level horses that are just hitting their best stride right now, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, well, you got to start with Queen Vava. Like she's just the best horse in the barn right now, and I love that race. I love that she was taken out of her comfort zone a bit, having to go after the speed of society early on, get into that stretch tool and be able to wear her down in the last furlong. I just thought that showed so much of who she is and what she's about, and she's just a stone cold runner and is obviously the clear leader for the champion, the filly and mare sprinter. So hopefully she keeps on rolling and we can get an Eclipse Award with her at the end of the year. And then you got a horse like Carson's Run, who we know has all the talent, being a grade one winner as a 2-year-old, but had been coming off a couple of disappointing races. And you just didn't know whether or not he could develop beyond what he did up at Woodbine and up at Saratoga last summer. And honestly, he did not seem like he was traveling that well for most of the race. But then when they turned for home, he just exploded through the stretch. It was great to see. He was much the best. So you kind of had, it was a good mix where you had Vava and Don't Look Back at All. Don't want to slight her, but horses that you expect to show up and run big as the favorites. And then a horse like Carson's Run, who you know has talent, get back to that top level. It was a great mix of horses. Keep It Easy as well. Tommy was there for that, winning that maiden race so impressively. It was a great mix of victories with young horses, established horses, horses bouncing back. I mean, the barn is just loaded right now.
Our first 2-year-old winner of the season. In addition, there with Keep It Easy, who was a big price, round 10, 11 to 1 first out, ran the week of the Belmont Stakes. I remember watching it. Actually, he debuted during our happy hour on that Thursday here at the spa. And I remember watching it on my phone. And although he didn't really get bet, I think a lot of us, me included, thought he'd run or just finish a little stronger. But clearly last Thursday we got and saw the horse that he was hyped up to be over the winter. Barry Berkelhammer, every time I went to Abracadabra, is like, no, this colt, and he's by Hardspun. He's like, he's in the top 3 out of all the 2-year-olds I currently have here. This horse is really good, and he punched his ticket to the Saratoga Special. Sandman also was in that race, and I gotta think, Joe, just the way, and this was something I had a little bit of a conversation with the partners of mine that are in on Sandman, and I posted post-race on Chatter as well. I've never really considered Mark Cassie to be a crank him up first out kind of 2-year-old guy. I mean, he's always been a trainer, and his outfit has always been one that even if they win first out, I fully expect second out, regardless of the level we're talking about, his horses are just going to be that much better.
Yeah, well, the way he explained it to me was like, listen, he was ready to go, but he wasn't ready to go 21-4 and 45-2. And it's a different thing being ready to race and being able to sit back and make one run and having to chase a fast pace like that the way he was. But he broke so sharply. Jose did the right thing and didn't take his speed away from him. So I thought that was a positive. Obviously, you'd like to see him stay on a little bit better in the stretch. But the fact that he had that kind of speed with his pedigree, he's supposed to be better going 2 turns. You at least know he has that speed as a weapon. So if he gets into a big race down the line and there's no pace, you know he can make the pace on his own. So I think there's a lot of good things still to come from him. I know he's a high dollar horse, so whenever those horses don't win first out, everyone hits the mild panic button. But I like a lot of what I've seen from him, and that speed I think is going to turn out to be an asset down the line.
Well, speed has been the name of the game in large part to our good buddy Jackson Traveler, who will gear up. We've got a couple of horses running Friday evening at Prairie Meadows. So we've got a handful of confirmed entries, certainly in terms of the upcoming races. And this, much like recent results with a lot of ones in there, I was just kind of skimming more or less who's on deck. These are clearly horses and races that haven't been drawn as of the time where we're getting together here. In fact, we are entering a gallon a rush today for her race up north of the border Saturday at Woodbine. But man, it's just quality, 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 quality. But we do have a handful of entries here. Why don't I jump over to notability really fast? Let's take a little look. We've got Sedona, as you were saying, Joe, nice and early, so we can hopefully get you out to the Big A, get your picture taken with this curling filly for Shug and Irad, and then get you home for the 4th of July barbecue. This this looks like the spot for her, does it not?
I mean, no doubt. Like it's just you're not going to find a more comfortable one other than Philly and Mare Allowance in New York. And she so clearly has the most upside of all these horses. The only horse who's in her stratosphere in that realm is the 3 Miss Sense for Todd Pletcher. Obviously has a little bit of talent, but was beaten 15 lengths by Ways and Means last time out. So I think she kind of just got third by default in that race where nobody else really ran other than the top two. But yeah, Sedona's got the outside post. I would like to see her lay a little bit closer than she was in the Churchill race. I think that's probably the only thing that can get her beat is if she's too far back and there's a slow pace. Otherwise, she looks like 2 to 5, 1 to 2, 3 to 5 in this race. And hopefully, and Jay, I know you're very invested in her as you should be with the talent she's shown. Hopefully, this is a springboard to some big stakes for her this summer and fall.
Without a doubt. I mean, the Alabama, from the night we bought her nearly 2 years ago, it's just crazy how fast time flies. And I think with Battle of Normandy running up here opening weekend, or name any horse in the stable, regardless where they're based or who's training, it's just like, wow, feels like yesterday we bought this horse. But no, the Alabama in my mind, and I know I'm not alone, was like, I want to be back when Sedona's 3 in August of her 3-year-old season, winning the Alabama. So good luck to her. Pressure in the bullseye, definitely on her back tomorrow. And then Friday, a little past my bedtime, but for our boy Jackson, I will stay up a little past 9 p.m. That's the beauty not only of having a Jackson Traveler, Tommy, in the barn, but like when Steve Asmussen, just as far as him being able to plot and strategize, like there's nobody better when it comes to not off the wall spots, but looking outside like the norm per se. And we're 2.5 to 1 on the morning line Friday night with Jackson.
Yeah, it looks like a great spot. I think I looked earlier today. I think he's won 5 different tracks in his career. So when here will make it 6, which would be very impressive, just because he's our journeyman stakes horse. All he does is he runs everywhere and he finds ways to win. I'm excited to get him here. It looks like a good spot for him. I think there's only 6 horses subscribed for the race, so it'd be interesting to see how he goes. I like if we get Ricardo on board. I've always been a fan of Ricardo and Steve when they team up. But this race itself just obviously we don't have to run into Skelly anymore in this spot, thankfully. Glad we get to avoid him, and there's a few from his last race too that are in other stakes races around the country. But for him here, it just looks like a really good spot, and these are the type of races that I just feel like he just always runs well. Like the Zias Park Sprint, when he ran there, I didn't really know what I was expecting, and then bam, he shows up, wins huge, and I was like, oh, Jackson's back. So after I don't know if lackluster is the right word, but he just wasn't on his game his last 2 efforts. So I'd really like for him to get back to that form he showed us in the Whitmore and just run a solid race here and get us a nice stakes win.
Love to see him get lifetime win number 10. Good luck to our boy Jackson. And of course, happy am I, who again, Dallas Stewart does not have the kind of operation that Steve Asmussen runs. But that's irrelevant here. I mean, he's done a really nice job at bringing this daughter of Run Happy aboard. Didn't run terribly in the winning colors. I thought she ran better opening night. And you talk about time flying. Watching her race under the lights in the Roxolana, that was opening night, as you guys will recall, and thinking like, wow, the Derby 7 days away, the Triple Crown, and now we're on the verge of Saratoga. But she's well drawn. She's got to beat Joe. I mean, this Brad Cox horse, Olga Isabel, didn't run well and kind of ended her 4-year-old campaign on a sour note, just not firing in New York in the Garland of Roses, but prepped over this track. And I mean, this is a pretty good mare she's facing.
No doubt, but I honestly think that this race sets up pretty well for Happy MI if she's able to just sit off the speed a little bit. Now she hasn't rated and won yet, but she's rated and run pretty well, like she did in the Roxolana where she got beaten to the lead. Because if you look, you got the 4, the 6, and the 1 are all pretty big speed, and the other 2 horses in the race, the 2 and the 5, are deep closers. So she could be sitting in that garden spot if the 3 of them go at it, and she's just sitting fourth, a couple lengths off the lead, get the jump on the closers, hope the speed melts down. I think this race sets up very, very well for her.
Beautiful. Good luck to both those horses at Prairie Meadows. What do you want, ZZ? Z has placed a stick under my chair and wants me to throw it. I'm going to put you on the podcast if you keep it up. Then we've got our Ellis meet guys starting on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday with Miss Enchanted. Not a like pivotal race might be a touch hyperbole, but her last race coming in off that layoff was an important one for her. And I remember pretty much saying, this is a race we're going to find out and see, can she run? Is she at this point a high priced maiden claimer / maiden special weight horse, or do we need to dip down and just get maybe a speck of class relief? She ran phenomenal. And I'll tell you, Tommy, not only did she run really well last time, and I think from top to bottom, this looks like a perfect field for Miss Enchanted. It seemed like Dale's barn at Churchill really in the last couple of weeks, keep it easy included, feels like his barn picked things up in a big way, which I was happy to see.
Yeah, 100%. I thought Miss Enchanted ran too good to lose last time out. Whole way the stretch, it looked like she was going to go by. And of course, she was doing with another Maximus Mischief filly that just barely edged her out. But and as you said, Dale's barn's really been throwing a lot of good runners lately. I feel like he does this every summer where there's just a certain point at the Churchill meet where everything just starts to fire. And I'm hoping it continues into Ellis Park because, as we saw, I mean, keep it easy and set a lot of other runners that have run real well and winning. And I think this will continue on with her. And with that last effort, I think if she can run back to that, I think expect a lot of good things from her on Saturday.
Yeah, no question. Good luck to Miss Enchanted. Think she found. I haven't seen the line yet. I don't know if the morning line's out. Probably not, considering it's only Wednesday. It might be out, but she's going to be favored, or if not, like co-favored. She's one of the ones. And good luck to Miss Enchanted again. Just a little housekeeping here. Rocking. You guys like my new vest from the new West Point store? How's it looking?
I'm
jealous.
looking one of those.
Yeah, this is going to be just killer for mornings up here. So without a doubt, over on our West Point website, westpointtb.com, don't forget to check out the new West Point store. And we've also got a back by popular demand, I might add. We're doing our two-year-old class webinar, for lack of a better word there, are basically rundown of the entire 2-year-old class, which is 49 strong. We're gonna tape that on Monday with the team. And that was a blast last summer when we did it.
It was fun, and it's great to just, even for the partners, it's great, but it's also internally great to just kind of run through the horses and just get a little sense of where we're at with everybody. Because you got some horses that are ready to run right now, you got some horses that are going to need a little bit more time, but it's great to kind of get that evaluation process rolling as we head into the summer.
Definitely. Tommy, what about you? 4th of July plans, Mignana? You're not going to the races, are you? I don't think Ellis is running.
Nothing doing tomorrow. Just hanging out, watching Big Sedona up north in New York. Hopefully get home a win. So I'll be cheering her on and looking for you, Joe, in the winner circle there, and just probably watching some racing and hanging out.
Good. I'll be hanging out with this girl right here.
Queen.
What's up, Z? We'll probably take her on a little bit of hike after watching Sedona, of course, crush early in the Belmont at the Big A card. And I will see you guys when you get up to the spa. I mean, Joe, do you have any dates hammered down when you're going to be in town?
Breaking news. I'm going to be up there all of opening week. So I'll see you next Wednesday, next Thursday. I'll be there.
Awesome. And Tommy, We've got to get you to the spa. That is my mission this summer.
I already got it. I already got it squared away. Whitney Day in the sale.
Awesome. Awesome. That could be a monstrous weekend, not only obviously with phasing, and that's where, of course, this guy came from some close to 5 years ago in August of 2019. But again, having the Saratoga Derby and whoever else might be running, maybe a 2-year-old or two. So it is all good. Again, Tommy, Joe, and myself just wanted to hop on quick. This was a fast one, like a 110 buyer kind of fast. We'll wish everybody a great, happy, and safe 4th of July. Thank you to all of our partners, and whether it's out on the West Coast with the great Jeff Lifson, or here at the spa with the mayor of Saratoga, the one and only Tom Bellhouse. We look forward to seeing all of you this summer at the races, and good luck to the West Point horses, and we'll catch you next time.